Hello, this is Jonathan Medina with a quick video on how to make a YouTube thumbnail. Now, let me just give a disclaimer. I'm not a master graphic designer. I know enough to be dangerous. So today I'm going to share what I know with you. I've boiled it down to basically 6 key ideas about creating a thumbnail. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it because I need to make a thumbnail for a video. So the first thing we need to do is you need a graphic design program. The free one is GIMP, and there's other free ones like it. I use Photoshop, and I'm not sure if all these functions are available in GIMP, but I know that Photoshop makes some of this really easy. So in Photoshop, you're going to make a new document. So this is not going to, the video is not going to show you my new document making, but basically I say create new. It's black for some reason. But when I click create new, it'll come up with a menu, and I have saved templates already. So one of my templates is set to YouTube thumbnail, which is 1280 by 720. And this is one of the first keys, is that you need to make it the recommended size. And the recommended size is 1280 by 720. And I'm going to do create here. And so now you can see my background, and we're ready to start putting stuff on our thumbnail. So that's the first key, is size. And this makes a difference because what you're going to be doing is you'll be setting up documents and images, and you want to make sure that those sizes are compatible with this size. So let's go grab an image. So the video that I am making, the video that I'm making a thumbnail for is a Magic the Gathering video. So, and again, if you need to find the YouTube thumbnail size, you can find it here just by putting in Google YouTube thumbnail size, and boom, it's right there, 1280 by 720. So let's make a new Google search, and I'm going to search for Nahiri, the Harbinger, and I'm going to put artwork here. Because the first thing, the second key is layers, okay? So these first 3 keys are technical keys, okay? So they're kind of something you need to know from a technical standpoint to make a YouTube thumbnail. And so our first one was size, and now we're looking at layers. And I'm going to show you what I mean by layers in a minute. Basically, what we're looking for is we want an image that's going to go right on the background of our... So on this white space, we want this whole white space covered by one image, because this is going to be the background layer, okay? And then on top of that layer, we're going to put a bunch of stuff like text and other things, okay? So let's find an image. I'd really like this image, like right here. This is like attention grabbing. It's, red. It probably would hold like white, because she's white. It would probably hold white font really well. So I'd love to find that. I don't know if that image is available. Let's find out. Artwork. This is from the Mythic expansion. Okay, so this looks like kind of a low quality cropped version here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not showing you. I'm showing you Photoshop still. So the image that I wanted to get and I was showing you was this Nahiri, the Harbinger image, and I found one, but it's low quality. As you can see, it's 551 by 412. So we could, just as an example, I'll show you what I mean. We could use this. We want to drag and drop this onto our folder. And then I'm going to drop this into Photoshop, and I'm going to show you what I mean. Hopefully it'll translate well here. So we got the blank thing, and then let's drag this in. So first you're going to see like, okay, this doesn't cover the whole background. This is its native size, and it doesn't cover. So in order to cover it, you have to stretch it. And when you stretch it, you get distortion. You get blurriness. It's not as sharp. Now, if you had something that was bigger, it would be sharper when you shrunk it. But do you see how you might see it's this very blurry? Now, I mean, that's an effect, you know. We might just go all the way, right, and just make it even more blurry. and then like just have that blurred background, kind of like that, you know. I mean, that's a possibility. Then like we'll try to center it a little bit here, you know, maybe. I mean, maybe we go for the blur. Let's try it with the blur, because you know, we can always change it up and adjust it. That's the great thing about this. So the third key is cutting stuff out. So like I said, we're gonna do layers. So let me finish some layers here. I'm gonna say I think I'll put capitals here. Nahiri, and then Armageddon. I'm going to put here. Hope I spelled that right. We will check it in Google. I want to make this capital. So let's get the spelling right here. And we'll talk about font in just 1 minute. Font is also very key in developing these thumbnails. So let's just do a cheating Google search here to find out if I spell Armageddon right. Did I do it? Yes, we did it. All right. So okay. So we have this blurry background. I wonder. I'm going to look through here just to see if we don't have to take the blurry background, right? Because if we don't have to, we want options. Let's see. There's like there's a site called The Art of Magic right here. And they will sometimes have high resolution stuff. Okay, so they have the other one high resolution, but they don't have the one that I like. They have this one high resolution. So we'll keep this in the background in case we want to switch up. Okay, so we've written our text again. We're still on layers, okay? We're still developing our layers, and we're about to cut some stuff out, okay? Because we need to. Oh, that was wrong. That's wrong. I'm just going to close that. I don't know what that was. Sometimes they try to get you, you know what I mean? Try to get you to click on things you're not supposed to click on. Nahiri. That should be enough right there. Okay, I like Scryfall because it has high resolution images. And I'm going to save this in a different folder, the YouTube thumbnail folder. And then the other one we want is Armageddon, which we already typed, so we can just pull that up here and then save this. That's actually a cool image too. The Armageddon art might be cool too. Let's pull that in. We're gonna pull that. Sometimes you don't want figures in the art because it will mess with your design. 700 is not big enough because we want 1200. It's a little bigger than what we're working with now, but like what we're working with now is blurry. So the closer to the 1200 you can get, the better, because it'll be tighter. It'll be a cleaner thumbnail. All right. So we have our text. We're going to play with the text in the font when we start talking about the font thing. So we'll leave that for now. It's just about getting stuff on the page right now. We just want to get it on there, and then we'll arrange it and talk about what to do there in a minute. So let's drop this in there. So we have this artwork, and then this one too. Drag this in. And then I'm going to show you my Photoshop screen so you can see what it's looking like. Oh, I gotta hit enter here. Okay, so we have our two things. You know, a bad version of a thumbnail would be this, right? Because yeah, you have stuff going on, but you don't, you know, you have no flow, no anything. Also, the last technical key. So we had size, which I told you what the size was already, and then we had layers. So you can see these things are layers. One thing that you saw me do is look at the font. It's now behind the Armageddon, and you just putting things on the right layers will help you figure out where everything's placed, right? Obviously, the background is in the background. We don't want to put the background on the front because, see, boom, you lose everything, right? So you just put them all on top of each other like you're stacking papers on top. And so that's layers. The third one is cutting things out. Now, one last thing that I want to do for this. So we have our elements, and then I'll show you the cutting things out situation. So I have been using emojis in some of these, and the emojis are actually really cool for these thumbnails. They kind of like emojis like in text culture and stuff like that. Okay, astonished face. I want the astonished face. And it makes it just it evokes certain kind of emotions when you see an emoji, and I think that like will enhance your thumbnail. I don't know if there's like science behind that, but you know. All right, so I want something that's gonna look good on this. This looks kind of sad. I want something like this is crazy, you know. And I like this kind of look with the like the shine, not the flat look. I want something with like that little bit of a shine and stuff like that. And so, let's see. This is kind of funny right here. Oh man, there's none of them are looking. None of them are striking my fancy. Let me look at screaming face emoji. Let me try that. Okay, all right. Now we're getting some versions of the screamy face. That's what we want. That's what we want. Is it on a t-shirt? That would be hilarious. You know, you'll learn if you watch any of my videos about like tuning things or whatever. Man, I'm so picky about stuff. I guess we'll try this one. We'll try it. Let's drag that over. And is there one more we can try? I mean, that feels weird, but okay. I think that's enough. Let's go back to Photoshop. Drag in this emoji here. What does this one look like? See, again, we're having a layer situation. We got to put it up on top of everything so we can see it. Not a big fan of that one. Let's see what this one is. I'm probably going to end up with this one. So I'm going to use the eyes here to hide stuff. And I'll leave this here. Now we get to the part where I'm talking about cutting things out. So a couple things you're going to notice is, look, there's a white, it's a white square. And we don't like that. We want it to be like, we want to see stuff behind it. So I like to use the wand tool. Let's see if I can find the wand. Magic wand. See? Looks like a little magic wand up here. And it lets you select all the stuff around it that's one color. So if it's white, it's going to get all the white, and then when you delete it, oh no, it's a smart object. That means you have to double click it and edit it that way. Not sure if I want to do that. I might, let me think about this. The thing about the smart object is you can just like I'm doing now, double click and then do what I said, but you have to create like a transparent background to do that. So but the other thing is, if you don't edit it, if you don't edit the smart image, then it's hard when you resize it. It degrades because you'll have to make it a raster image to do that. Yeah, this is not working. So you're going to see both ways here. So what we're going to do is we're going to rasterize this layer. So boom, it's rasterized. Now we can clear that out. But now when we resize it, it won't be as clean as it's a very negligible difference. But basically, when you made it raster instead of vector, now we're going to be dragging stuff. Now there's a little bit of white around it. You'll see that there. To clean that up, what you can do is you can do the blending options, and then do a stroke. And then you do the stroke in the same color, and it will hide that little mess. It looks like it's making it a little bit worse. Let's make it thicker just to see if we can clean that up a little bit. Okay, cool. It's a little bit cleaner, and also it just gives a nice thing. You could get in there and get really, you know, cleaning the sides and stuff like that, which we're kind of do with these images, but I don't really want to do that right now with the smiley face because we don't even know if we're going to keep it. So. Okay, so that's fine. You'll notice there's a white dot here. That means because there's still something left. That's what the stroke is around. So what we'll do is we'll select the screamy face layer, remember, and then we're going to clear that out. Get that with the eraser. Boop. What's happening? Oh, I'm doing something wrong here. Is that an eraser? Oh, I did a spot healer. Alright. Don't worry, we'll go back. We'll get the eraser. Let's delete that. Redo stroke. Okay, so now we gotta find our eraser. Where's our eraser? Okay, here it is, eraser. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong tool. Alright, see, then we clear that out and boom, the eraser's there. Okay, the next thing is we want to get these images, these card images, and what I like to do is zoom in on these so I can get that side stuff. So down here is your zoom. I'm going to go 260, and that brings us up real close. Stop it. Are we going to rasterize these two? I hope not. Yeah, we're probably going to have to do that. This is fine because we're actually going to make them smaller. And I'm just getting in there with the eraser. Man, I don't really like how that came out, but again, we're gonna make it smaller. You know, this is a YouTube thumbnail, so you know it's not a client's like you know, logo or something like that. So we can afford to have a little bit of whiteness on it, and even that's a little trashy. You know, that's a little bit, I don't know. Trying to round it out a little bit more. Sometimes you make it worse when you're doing that. So we're just doing that. Clear this. This is cutting things out. This is the other key, the technical key, and then we'll talk about from a design perspective what the other three keys are in making a thumbnail. Now, of course, you know when you're doing this after you learn, it doesn't take this long because you don't have to explain it to someone. You're just doing it. You know. I mean, it's kind of gross. Let's see how it comes out. We'll see how it comes out. Okay, so the next one, we'll go over to the next image. We're going to rasterize that. Boom. Rasterize is clean up these edges. One thing I like to do is release the mouse every now and then, especially when I get a good clean swipe, because sometimes you'll get a good clean swipe and then you'll like eat right into the side, and then you know, then you've ruined your clean swipe. So when you release the mouse, you've come to a point where you can go back. So let's say right here I went, whoops. Well, now I can hit back and I've already got these swipes, right? So let's say I get that and I've releasing the mouse, see, releasing the mouse, and then whoops. Then I can go back and I've already have this cleaned up. Now, if you're doing this and you get it nice and cleaned up and then you do this, when you do that, then it goes all the way back to the thing. So I like doing it in little chunks, you know. A little bit time consuming. Another way to do this, I'll show you here. You'll probably want to throw something at your screen when I show you this because you'll say, why didn't you do that before? So it's, again, this magic wand tool. Very cool. Boom. See, it gets a pretty nice thing. And then again, Boom. See, a little bit of a shortcut. So wanted to show you both ways to do that. I know it's kind of trolly, right? All right, so let's zoom back in, or zoom back out rather. Okay, give it a, I think we want to be at like 75. Okay, so now our cards are here, our title. Now what we want to do is we want to kind of stick this title. I kind of like the faded background and I like the big cards. So I like the faded background, I like the big cards. So I think we just need to size it so that the title, the title's there, okay? Because the title can't be on top of the cards. It makes it look ugly. So that's where we need to figure out a space for the title, and we need to think about the title. Now, one thing, this will be the first key that's designed. So the first three keys were technical, and they were the size of the thumbnail and the layers, how to use layers, and then how to cut things out like we just did. Okay, those are the three technical things that you need to know. Now, from a design perspective, you need to know about fonts. Okay, so this font is just, it's called Monostrat, but this is a font that I had to download. This is like a font. It's a free font, but you have to find it. Now, there's some fonts that come on your computer that are just fine for YouTube thumbnails, and one of them is Impact. Impact is really one of the fonts that a lot of people use. We'll just pick like, we'll crank this up to like 90. And one of the most important things to know about fonts from a design perspective is that legibility is much better than style, right? So I have Impact here, but like I also have these other fonts. Like, look at this cool font. It looks cool, right? But like, it's hard to read. See? Like, this is a cool looking font, right? Where you look at where it says in the get in here, it looks cool, but it's hard to read. With YouTube videos, you want them to read it. So from a design perspective, legibility always beats style. And what it looks like we're going to do is we're going to have to switch some of this out. So we're going to want white. So let's make the color white so we have some contrast. So now we have white. We might want to put a stroke on it. This helps the text stick kind of pop out, right? So the stroke, you can't see the stroke, but because you can't see my sub menus, but if you click on the layer, again, I'll go to the layer and show you, and right click on it, then there's a thing called blending options. And when you click on blending options, it'll allow you to get to the stroke. And I'm going to pick a black stroke here. So now you can see it's sticking out. Now it's starting to look like a YouTube, you know, because look at that, isn't that recognizable, right? That's recognizable. You can see that. So the next thing I want to do is start resizing these images. I use the Control-T to transform, and I'm going to start making this image. Just give it some room. I want to leave some room to put that there. You know what? First, I'm gonna do the resize, and then I'm gonna try to resize the get-in to match it first, so that I don't have two different size cards on the. Let's get that down. It's a little bit too small, but we'll get there. Boop. Now they don't have to be perfect. In some design, you know, applications they do have to be perfect, but in this application, again, it's all about just catching the eye of your audience and stuff like that. So here, I think now what you can do is when you go to transform, you can tilt it a little bit. That gives a little bit of action, you know. And the other thing is you can put it like this, you know, and this is where the design happens. You know, this is where you start thinking about things. We're trying to make room for our font, you know, see how it's going to maybe sit down there. See, now we're starting to get room for the font. Our elements are starting to find a place, and that will bring us to another key, and that is balance. Okay, we want to balance everything. See how right now there's nothing in this space right here? That's bad. Like, you want something in there because you want something to balance everything so that it looks pleasing to the eye. Now this is not big enough to balance it. Okay. Looks like we have another little white spot. Let's clear that out. Okay. But what you could do is you could do this. We can edit and go like, oh my gosh, like look, you know, I mean that looks terrible, but like you could balance it this way so there's something everywhere. Okay. Now that's probably not what we're going to do. We're probably going to make this really small and do some stuff here. We're going to figure something out. We got to figure it all out. That's what we're going to do. So let's try to find some balance. We have the opportunity to move these over here for that reason. And I also have the Oathbreaker. This is an Oathbreaker deck, so I also have that. I have that logo, so we can go get the logo. My clothes are done drying, so that's good news. Let's see. I'm going to get the logo. You can't see. I'm going to my email to get the logo, so, you know. I don't want to give you my email password and all that stuff, because, you know, it's just like, then you're going to be in my account, reading my emails, which are, you know, totally business related and whatnot. Okay. Oh, I think, you know what? It's not on that account. It's on a different account. I'm going to forward it over to myself so that I can use the Oathbreaker logo. Now, it might work out. It might not. This is the thing, you know. You'll have to always try things. You know, you're just going to try things out. It might work out. It might not. But the most important thing is to give it a try. So let's forward this to my... Oh, why did I do that? I'm going to forward this to my account. I put don't include. Okay. All right. So that's heading over. And I'm going to put this in my pocket, and then we should be able to see it soon. Hopefully. Okay. Boom. Showed up. Okay, so I might use, I'm going to save this image here. I know you can't see that. Next time I might do like a share the whole screen situation, because right now I'm doing stuff, you're not really seeing it. But I mean, it's boring stuff. I'm just, you know, saving files and whatnot. Goodness. Okay, so we obviously need to make that a little bit smaller. Oh. I dropped the Oathbreaker logo onto the OBS screen instead of the... So professional. I'm not changing that, man. We're too deep. We are too deep. Okay. So that's kind of neat. It's kind of neat to have that. I don't know though. I'm not sure about that. Let's see what other logos we have here. We have a couple more that we can try out. Save image. Can I just save all this stuff? This is getting difficult. Save image. Okay, so let's mess around with these things a little bit more. We'll drop some logos in here. I don't like that because I'm going to delete that one. I don't like it because it's too much. It's too much. This one feels a little bit better. Maybe we're going to go for like a center. Okay, all right, I think I have an idea here. I think we'll put this at top. We'll put this on the bottom, and we'll make the cards like coming out of it. So let's clear this out. And I think what this means is little face has to go away. So maybe we won't be using that face. Or maybe we will. Oh, look at that. Yeah. All right, let's turn this a little bit over like that. Cracking it down. And then I'm going to bring these out. Because remember, look at if we bring them in, right? Let's just bring them in so I can show you what I'm talking about. Like, what if we put them nice and tight like this? Well, then we have two things. First of all, the balance is off. Okay? There's there's stuff down here. Yeah, I'm downstairs, sweetheart. That's my daughter. Oh, man, she's awesome. So we want to extend these out. And when you extend them out, first of all, it shows more of the card. And second of all, it gives us more balance. See? And one thing I might do is like drag... let's see. We're going to view... I want to view my rulers so I can drag down a guide. And with the guide, that little blue line, we can now like drag the Armageddon right to be even with where the Nahiri is. And then put this here. And then this is like there's space here. We're losing it. So if we make this bigger, then we get to take up some of that space. And then we center it. And then now we're seeing this. And we can maybe make this a little bit bigger. Okay, again, I'm trying to find balance. I don't want the, whoops. I don't want the cards touching here on the text, but I don't, you know, we're just looking for like the right place for those cards to be. And I feel like Armageddon is at a little bit of a, let's take a look at our angles here. Whoops. Is there a way to make that a less of an angle? And just trying to like, this is where we're getting to that balance thing. There's one more key, and I'll show you that. It's not probably going to apply too much to this video. But it might not apply to this design too much, but it will apply in other designs that you do. And let's get this centered. Yeah, there we go. When you see the purple line there, it means that it's centered. Whoops. Let's bring it down a little bit. This face is not doing it for me. If we remove it, I feel like we're close. And I think I'm going to use the end sign. Oh, the end sign is not there. How about this? I feel like we're close, but we need something to balance this middle portion. And the face, there's too much white now. Now, one thing we can do is, and maybe we'll try it. We'll try it. This is the third element of design the third key to design here. And I'm pulling up my stroke menu here. Right now the stroke is white. Remember, we used white to hide it. But what you can do is you can change the color of the stroke to match the colors around it. And this is like, when you're designing something, this is, let me show you on the text. This is not going to work for this crazy guy. We're going to remove him. We're going to do something else in the middle here. But I'll show you on the text what I mean by making stuff more subdued or or fit the design better. Here's an example, and I think you can see what I'm doing here, but if you like select your text color and then you see where my little dropper is, it's because I'm picking a color. See that? So like when I pick a color, because I'm pulling it from the design, it makes it go with the design. You understand what I'm saying? So like let's do this. Let's cancel that. Okay, so we still have white. But like let's say we get a paint bucket. Let's see if I can find my paint bucket. Eraser, here we go. Let's say we get a paint bucket and then we pick this Oathbreaker design here. We're going to rasterize it. Okay, now we can drop a paint bucket in there, and we're going to pick a color. If we drop this, okay, that's black. We don't want that. Let's see if it, I like this kind of purple. Oh no, it's only letting me drop it on the white. I want to drop it on this red. There we go. So you see, like we changed the color of that to kind of match. Now that's a little bit too dark. It's a little bit too dark. Let's take it back and let's grab another color. This is a little bit brighter. Do you see how that softens it up a little bit? Makes it a little bit more, it matches a little bit more with what we're doing. See what I mean? I'm just getting all the circles there. And I like that. I think that matches a little bit better. And because the other one was like a more harsh color. And so we're almost there. Almost there. Something here is what we have to do. Let's play around. Let's play around with this stuff. Because another thing we can do is we can take this and we can take this text and move it. So we can just, I'm going to X this out here, like, and we can just put stacks. Okay. So we can find balance this way. Now, let's put another text in here for Boros. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is we have Boros here. I'm going to copy the stacks. Layer style, and I'm going to paste it on here. Paste, layer style, boom. So you'll see it's the same stuff. And then we'll make this huge, so like maybe 180. It's too much. 150 maybe. We basically want to fill this whole space here. 140. And then this one, we'll take it up to 145. Because a little bit, you know. Okay, so, whoops. Let's go back to 60 or 75%. Okay. Do I like I have this stupid like the okay. Now another thing here is this Oathbreaker thing is now so blended that we're kind of losing it in the design. Kind of don't like that. Let's see if we can drop a drop shadow or something on it to kind of pop it out of the design a little bit. That's it's doing something. Not a lot though. Stroke is too much. There is a drop shadow there, but see how it looks. You can see it there. Center this again. Trying to bring this into balance. See, like here is fine, like this curve right here is fine. The problem is it doesn't fully curve. Like it should go like this, whoop. Like if you were to transpose these, do you see the satisfaction there? How it's starting to feel much more satisfying to have it like kind of round like that. That, you know, you can accomplish that by making this smaller. So like and then this bigger. So we can round it, you know, round it out like that, like have that same round thing. Bring this down a little bit. And then you're starting to get, you know, if you blow this out, blow this up, and then this here, take this up, starting to see it's starting to like get into where it should be, right? Kind of this shape. And we're kind of slowly working out. It's kind of like pushing, you know, pushing out the air bubbles or whatever you want to call it. You know, we're slowly working that out. We're going to have to come back here and get this out of here with the paintbrush or the paint bucket. We're going to have to, like, I think maybe go darker. I'm going to use like I pulled the color out of here. And now I made it even darker. So let's see what that looks like. A little bit darker. That makes it pop a little bit more. It doesn't get so lost in design. And you can do things like that with like so this Boros thing, right? The Boros word. This is what I was talking about with when you go to your blending options, and I know you can't see this, but there's a gradient overlay. And this is what I was talking about with, man, I wish I could show you exactly. But you can see, like, you could pick different gradients here. And it makes it look a certain way. And then if you combine the gradient with what I was talking about with pulling colors out, so like let's say I pull a color out of here, like this dark, and then for the mid, this is the mid gradient, I pull it out of here, and then for the light, I grab it from like over close to the hair or something like that, or maybe over here, you know, warm it up over here, like even lighter. There we go. Let's push the lightness. So now you see, like, boom, look at the gradient kind of pulls that in, right? It does. But again, that makes it more like, it blends it with the design. Now, I'm not sure we want to blend that, because look, it just, now we lose Boros. Boros is kind of lost, you know? Whereas before, when it was white, or if you did something like crazy like this, boom, you know, you see it kind of sticking out like a sore thumb, you know? That works a little bit better, you know? This is just crazy right there, you know? That looks good. That's more like a steel look. You know, you don't lose it completely. It gives it some texture. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do. I'm not going to do that though. I'm not going to go with the. I'm going to turn off the gradient because I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I don't know what's next. I think part of what's next is we have to select all these and drag it up some. Just to give enough, we want to give the space equal space around it, you know? I think that's better. And I think I want to take this down to like 115 just to get a little more curve in there. And let's try the face again. Let's try this face. Slight roll. Bump these up. Do I like that? I kind of like it behind the face, but not severely. So now we have this little curve, the face. Face is not doing it, huh? Let's try a different face. Let's try a different emoji. Let's go for like the evil face emoji or something, because it's stacks, right? It's we're playing stacks, so stacks is a mean deck. By the way, I thought this was going to be a fast video, so my apologies for it not being so fast. I still think we want a darker Oathbreaker. I think we want that almost black, but with that like shade of like whatever color that is, grape or whatever. All right, so let's look for a new face. Let's look for a new face. Evil face emoji. Some of these emojis, they're either like way over the top or like too simple, or this one looks pretty good. This one also looks like a PNG, which is nice because a PNG means that there's no cutting. Yeah. Yeah, we just had a bad graphic, man. Oh, I like that. I like the way that looks. We're going to have to do some spacing stuff and a little bit of cleaning, but I do like that. Another way to do it, let me see if I can take it out of frame. That's a little too big. That's a little too big. Okay, so let me, let's get back in Photoshop so you can see what I'm working on. All right, so I took it out of frame a little bit. That was a little too big. I went a little too crazy with the little smiley evil face. Let's bring it down a little bit more. And the stacks. Don't want to sit that there. That breaks up things. Okay. Boom. I like that. I like that. And then I want to darken the Oathbreaker situation. Let's cancel that. Let's go even darker. And then drop some. How's that? I think what has happened with the Oathbreaker thing, I like that color a little bit more. But I think what's happened is we've probably degraded the actual design. So we might want to slap a new one in there. Let's see. I think this one's it. No, that's not it. Not it. There it is. Then if we change up the size, looks about right. And then we rasterize it. Okay, now if you look at the two, this one should be a little bit cleaner. You can see it right here where the branches are, or the little breaks. These are really kind of washed out, and this is still bright. And then this in the Oathbreaker, in the way that it's cut, it's like blurring here, stuff like that. So now that we have a fresh one, this looks a little sharper. Okay, so it's close. It's close. I don't know if we want to, like, something needs to be done with the text here. Again, we might go to blending options, just drop that gradient in there just to go over the top. It feels a little bit over the top, but where should we put this yellow? I feel like the yellow at the top, and then we'll do the same thing here. Copy the layer style and then drop it on the stacks one. Is there something I can do with this? I don't like that. I don't like that. Hmm. I think it's getting there. I think having that uneven thing now that we have the smiley face was not good. So having it even is much better. Okay, I think we're done. I think we did it. So again, quick review, some of the technical things, technical keys. Number one, size, and I'll pull that up again so we can, I don't know it by heart, but the size you want it to be 1280 by 720, okay? So the other thing, technical, use layers. Do you see all these layers that we did and how we put them all together? The second thing. Third thing, you're going to have to cut some things out. See how we cut these nice little, white spots out and looking pretty good. Of course, our smiley face, that didn't come out so great last time. But this one came out real nice because it was already a PNG. So that means that it had a transparent layer, which I was grateful for. Okay, so then from a design perspective, legible is better than fancy. So you just want something that you can read. Don't try to be so fancy with like Papyrus font or Comic Sans or something like that. It has to be readable, number one. And then the second design thing is balance. Look, we worked so hard to balance this, and it looks okay. I mean, I could probably spend another hour or so working on the design, and you saw how things changed over time, right? And how things came together. So balance, and the last thing is using colors from the design, from the pictures themselves. The artists are so great at creating color palettes and doing things like that. You don't have to be the creator of the color palette. You can design the color palette on your own. You can go in there and tune things up. But remember, the danger with that is it might get too muted. You don't want to mute the design. You want the design to pop out. So like if we stayed with that Boros, with drawing the colors for the Boros gradient, then it would have been too muted. If we stayed with the certain color here, we had to go darker for that to pop a little bit more. So there it is. That's how to make a YouTube thumbnail. And I hope you enjoyed it, even with the little distractions and whatnot. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and you can contact me on all these social media platforms here. Feel free to do that. I'm always available and happy to talk. Other than that, have a good day.